Good afternoon, everyone. We are Group 2, and we will be presenting on our group report about the Siemens bribery scandals. Our group consists of 8 members in total. I'm the group leader, Chitansin, and this is our group member, Chan Seok-yu, Chaya, Shijasi, Chakali, Shinjani, Traivan, and also Chung Jian. This is our table of content. Can have a quick look. So without further ado, let's pass to the next presenter to start our group report.
Hi everyone, I'm Chinjani here. Here is some assignment information that each member have a clear role. Next. And here is some objective and timeline. You can have a quick look. Next. And this is the introduction. Today I will be talking about the Siemens bribery scandal. Siemens is a global engineering and technology company from Munich, Germany. In 2006, it was discovered that Siemens has paid a large bribe to win international contracts. Bribery had become almost a normal business practice, showing weak ethics and poor internal control. The scandal badly hurt Siemens' reputation. To fix this, the company brought in a new CEO, Peter Loesche, in 2007. He introduced strong ethics and compliance reform to rebuild trust and restore the Siemens image. I'll pass it to the next.
Hi, my name is Stephen, and now I want to talk on the case overview. Siemens AG, a global company in engineering, electronic, and infrastructure, paid bribes to officials and executives to secure contracts primarily in telecommunication, energy, and transportation. The company used secret accounts and middlemen to make these illegal payments, highlighting weak corporate governance and poor ethical practice. The scandal was particularly shocking because Siemens was a trust German company, and it prompted many other firms to strengthen their anti-corruption policy. Now I want to talk on the timeline. So in year 2006, German prosecutor raided Siemens over a major embezzlement case, searching CEO Klaus Kleinfeld's office. About 200 million was missing, leading Siemens to cut its 2005 overseas profit by 73 million, review compliance system, and report over 420 million in suspicious payment. Former executive Thomas Ganswin was arrested, and Transparency International urged Siemens to leave the organization. In year 2007, Siemens faced investigation over the UN Oil for Food program, leading to raids in Munich, Erlangen, and Nuremberg. Former CFO Neuberger was questioned, and executive Feldmayer, Prier, and CEO Kleinfeld resigned. Gerhard became chairman, Peter Loesche CEO, two managers received suspended sentence for bribery, and Siemens was fined 201 million. In year 2008, Siemens delayed shareholder approval of former executive action and entered negotiation with the SEC. Erich Reinhardt, head of medical technology, resigned as the company disclosed 1.3 billion in suspicious payment. Although prosecutors found insufficient evidence to charge Won Prior with a crime, investigation into supervisory failure continued. After 2008, Siemens launched sweeping compliance reform, appointed a chief compliance officer, and introduced extensive training. Since 2012, the company has cooperated closely with regulators and has become recognized as a global model for corporate reform. Now I will pass to the next presenter.
So hi, I'm Chan Yu. I'll be talking about the key individuals and the party involved. So starting with the key individuals, which is left-hand side, Heinrich Pierre, Siemens CEO from 1992 to 2005, wasn't charged but faced heavy criticism for failing to stop widespread bribery, leading to his resignation. His successor, Klaus Kleinfeld, also stepped down in 2007 due to pressure over how the company handled the investigation. Thomas Gatwill, who managed the telecom division, was arrested and fined for his role in the bribery. Johannes Vermeil and Wilhelm Skur. Both board members were convicted in Germany and for authorizing or being involved in illegal payment, receiving suspended and sentence and fine. Next, I will be talking about the party involved. On the right-hand side, Simon AG was the main entity responsible for organizing the global bribery scheme. In the US, the Department of Justice and SEC handled the case under the Foreign Corrupt Practice Act. In Germany, the Munich Public Prosecutor Office led the investigation and coordinated the legal settlement. There were also foreign officials in countries like Nigeria, Argentina, and Russia who accept bribes, and the intermediaries, consultant, and agent who help Siemens hide those payments. Together, they form the network behind one of the largest corporate corruption scandals in history. Next, I will pass it to next presenter.
I'm Chitansis, and I will present on the case exposure and media coverage of the Siemens bribery scandal. Firstly is the initial exposure of the case through an official investigations and the international media. The U.S. Security and Exchange Commission revealed that Siemens operated one of the largest bribery schemes in history, paying over USD 1.4 billion in illegal payments to officials across Asia, Africa, Europe, the Middle East, and the Americas. A total of 4,283 improper payments were made through the slash account, an intermediary to secure the major contract, generating around USD 1.1 billion in profits. Following this, the NPR media reported that Siemens admitted to widespread bribery and agreed to pay a record of USD 1.6 billion in fines to the US and German authority. This media coverage shows how bribery has damaged the Siemens' reputation and pushed it to reform in its compliance and ethical governance. Next. Secondly, this is about the investigation that have deepened the public understanding on the case. For example, the BBC News has reported that Siemens executives were charged with violating the US anti-bribery, wire fraud, and money laundering laws, demonstrating a global scale of corruption. Similarly, the PBS Frontline also reported that bribery was institutionalized in Siemens, described as just a line item. The former executive Reinhard Sikacek admitted managing an annual bribery budget of USD 40 to 50 million to secure the contracts worldwide. This media coverage has shown how bribery became part of the corporate culture in Siemens and how the German prosecutors uncovered the internal misconduct. Next. Lastly is the international follow-ups on the case. For example, the International Consortium of Investigative Journalists has reported on the ongoing bribery case in China involving the Siemens medical distributors even after its 2008 settlement. The 16 WAPT News Jackson has reported that the city of Jackson sued Siemens for a USD 225 million for public sector fraud, while the DW News reported that the Germany's accountability efforts in Made in Germany Siemens no leniency for executives. Together, this media's coverage has shown how the ongoing media exposure put the Siemens under global pressures, highlighting an importance of reinforcing the needs for corporate transparency. And that's all for my part. I will pass it to the next presenter. Thank you.
I'm Jacqueline and I'm talking about the discussion part, which is the offenses from the Siemens case. So for the first major offense is on bribery of public officials. Siemens have found to pay over $1.4 billion in bribes to government officials to secure his business contract. So this action violated the Foreign Corrupt Practice Act (FCPA) of 1977 in the United States. While under this law, it is prohibiting to offering anything of value to influence decision or obtain like business advantages. So as a penalized, he need to pay more than a $1.6 billion fine to the U.S. Department of Justice and the Securities and Exchange Commission. So for the second offense is a forgery in financial statement. Siemens had created the false accounting entries and maintained an off-the-book file to disguise the bribery statements. While this is violated the Securities Exchange Act of 1934. Under this law, it is required company to fully disclose the truthful information, particular in books and also internal control. So as a penalized, he placed under close supervision by independent compliance monitors and has been required to make their regular audits and financial system transparency. So lastly, the offense is criminal breach of trust and failure of corporate governance. Like the senior executive knew the bribery happens, but still allowed it to be widespread and concealed through a complex account structure. This action is breaching Section 266 of the German Criminal Code, while under this law is prohibition towards company officers from misusing the company assets and abusing their authority for unlawful gain. So this is the end of my part. I will pass to the next presenter.
Hello everyone, my name is Charya and I'll be talking about implication of the Siemens bribery scandal. The scandal affected on individuals, on organization, on countries in worldwide. For first, individuals. Many Siemens leaders made very poor and dishonest choices. Several executives were arrested, fined, and lost their jobs. Their reputation were destroyed and they were not trusted again in business. According to Blank et al. 2017, bribery had become a normal part of companies' culture because the control systems failed. This case also showed that company leaders are personally responsible under laws like the US Foreign Corrupt Practice Act and Germany's Criminal Code Section 266. Second, for the organization. Siemens lost a lot of money. It's more than 1.6 billion US dollars in fines. The company's image and investor trust dropped badly. As in Basel Institute on Governance 2012, for fix this, Siemens created Chief Compliance Office and started ethics training for all employees. As Leo 2006 explained, corruption can destroy a company's good name and long-term success. So later, Siemens slowly rebuilt its reputation by being more open and honest. Third, for countries, the scandal changed how governments fight corruption. Nations such as Argentina, Nigeria, and Bangladesh lost public trust in their governments, and the case helped increase teamwork between US, Dutch, and SEC and German press sector, supporting the United Nations Convention Against Corruption. Many governments then improved their laws. According to Malaysia Institute of Corporation Governance 2023, Malaysia's MAC Act 2009 and Section 70A adequate procedures. In summary, the Siemens case showed that corruption hurts people, companies, and nations. Good leadership, honesty, and strong cooperation are important to restore trust and keep business fair. Thank you. Now I'll pass to the next person.
Hi, my name is Chongjin Yan, and today I'll be presenting the section Steps to Address Integrity and Corruption Issues. The Siemens bribery scandal reminds us how corruption thrives when integrity isn't firmly embedded in an organization. To prevent this, several key measures can strengthen both organizational and governmental integrity. First, mandatory ethics and anti-corruption training is vital. Educating employees and officials on legal boundaries and ethical decision-making helps prevent misconduct. In Malaysia, the Anti-Corruption Practice for Companies in Malaysia course guides compliance with the MACC Act 2009 and Section 17A. Regular workshops and certifications ensure integrity becomes part of organizational culture. If Siemens had implemented such training consistently, many compliance failures could have been avoided. Second, integrity relies on robust auditing and monitoring systems. Regular internal and external audits, coupled with transaction monitoring, help detect irregularities early. The 4 Eyes principle, requiring dual authorization for high-value transactions, is one effective safeguard. Malaysia's Auditor General has highlighted procurement weaknesses, showing how vital audits are to prevent misuse of funds. Siemens too could have identified suspicious payments earlier with stronger oversight. Third, organizations must establish secure whistleblowing mechanisms. Anonymous and protected reporting channels encourage employees to report unethical acts without fear. Under Malaysia's Whistleblower Protection Act 2010, such safeguards exist, and companies like Nisha Metallizing Solutions have shown success with independent and multilingual systems. Siemens might have uncovered bribery sooner if similar platforms were in place. Fourth, ethical leadership is crucial. Leaders shape the tone for integrity and accountability. Incorporating ethical performance indicators and clawback clauses in executive contracts reinforces responsibility. Telecom Malaysia's procurement ethics policy, requiring leadership endorsement and ethics training, shows how top management can model ethical behavior effectively. Finally, transparency in procurement and contracting reduces opportunities for corruption. Open bidding, public ownership disclosure, and independent oversight make processes more accountable. Malaysia's proposed Government Procurement Act 2025 aims to standardize procurement and strengthen conflict of interest rules. Such reforms show how transparency can institutionalize integrity and reduce corruption risks. Together, these measures create a framework where integrity is not just expected, but structurally reinforced at every level. That's all for my part. Now I'll pass to the next presenter.
Hi everyone, my name is Jessie and now I will be talking about the lesson that we have learned from this case study. So first is the media exposure actually can cause the corporate accountability. So based on this case study, the Siemens briberies have gained the global attention after the exposure from SEC and also the international media, which is NPR. Both of them are actually a media coverage that they can force the company to face legal and ethical accountabilities. And this also shows that the media plays a vital role on promoting the corporate transparency and their responsibility. So this lesson shows that we as a company, we must maintain honesty and compliance, as when we are facing the global exposure by the media, it can quickly damage their reputations and also their brand identity. Now next is unethical corporate culture enables long-term corruption. So based on the BBC News and PBS Fortnight, they revealed that the Siemens bribery was the part of their corporate culture. So why? This is because the former executive, he described that the bribes are just a line item and they use the budget as useful money, which shows that how normalized the corruptions had become in the company. So even though the internal audits have noticed this kind of situation, they are ineffective because the company culture and their leadership tone are encourage them to bring up the unethical practice. So however, this change had begun when a new CEO called Peter Loche in 2007 to 2013, he implement strict ethical reforms and promote integrity from the top to the bottom. Last but not least, we have integrity depends on both employees and partners. So based on news from Brooks in 2019, after major reforms in Siemens still continue to face bribery issue throughout the distributors and also the agents, especially within China. So this actually shows that the third party remain a major corruption risk, even they have internal improvement and changes. So this lesson shows us that company must perform background checks before they collaborating with their partner and other organizations by using the anti-bribery clause and also monitor their partnership regularly. And the ethical responsibility must extend beyond the employees to every external organizations and corporate and collaborations with the company that work with. Now I will pass it to the next presenter.
Hi, and this is the conclusion. The Siemens bribery scandal happened between 2001 and 2007, involving over $1.4 billion in bribes. After the scandal, Siemens cooperated with investigators, removed key executives, and started major reform. They set up a corporate compliance office to give some anti-corruption training and create whistleblower hotlines. Siemens eventually turned itself into a model of integrity. The main lessons that are good leadership build honesty, strong control prevent corruption, and transparency build trust. Okay, here is some reference. You can have a look. And this is the end. Thank you.